Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've got some more Battlefield coverage here on the second channel, and this time it's in direct relation to Battlefield's basically biggest competition, Call of Duty. This is going to be a thing all year long as we come up on the full-on Battlefield 6 reveal, of course, here in just a few days' time, going into the beta for Battlefield. Then we go into the COD reveals, the beta for that, and COD Next as well. Everything leading up to launch this fall for both titles. It's going to be a lot of Battlefield's doing this, Call of Duty's doing this. This is better, that's worse. Ooh, it's going to be a back and forth the entire summer, the entire fall, the entire winter with these two games, which quite frankly is fantastic for us, because that means we're going to have two games that hopefully are going to have to try their hardest to win us over, right? But the initial reaction here from both communities in regards to what's been revealed so far with these two games, quite frankly, I find to be hilarious. And today I wanted to break down some of these reactions here. A lot of this is actually sparked from this initial post from Modern Warzone on Twitter. Obviously, Modern Warzone is predominantly a Call of Duty news account. It's in the name, Warzone. And Doug from Modern Warzone posts mostly COD stuff, but he's also been posting more Battlefield stuff lately as well. And a few days back, he ran a poll on his Twitter account, which he's done a lot of in the past. And even when I've been in dev calls with various different Call of Duty studios, they've actually mentioned like, hey, we see these polls and stuff online. It's actually really useful, and it's a great way to gauge feedback. Now, it is the Chronically Online community that's taking part in these. It's the, player-based minority, but the vocal majority that's taking place in these polls. And he ran this one a few days back saying, are you more excited for Battlefield 6 or Black Ops 7? And in this poll that got 31,000 votes, which is a lot of people, not nearly even close to the bulk of the Call of Duty player base or the Battlefield player base, but still a decent chunk of people, it was overwhelmingly favoring Battlefield 6, as you can see here, 80%. And Modern Warzone says, wow, 80% of voters said that they were more excited for Battlefield 6 versus Black Ops 7. That is a massive landslide victory for Battlefield 6, especially considering the majority of my audience are COD fans or follow me for Call of Duty, which is sort of what I just said here. This is an interesting outcome. And like I said, the results of this have sparked some interesting conversations. So for example, we're over here on the Battlefield subreddit, and this is a post that went up and it has a ton of likes already saying whelp, and it's an image here that says 80% of Call of Duty players are more excited for Battlefield 6 versus Battlefield 7 according to a recent poll. This is referencing Modern Warzone's poll there. The caption, not surprised in the slightest, played Black Ops 6 for a bit, and man, the cracked out gameplay plus the ridiculous skins made me never want to try a modern COD game again. I mean, it's kind of gone off the rails. And the comments on here are something we're gonna see here. I haven't read all of them, but I saw a few and I was like, I feel like this would be great video content. This first one, for instance, this makes me more nervous, but I don't know why. And this is kind of a situation that I've seen a lot in the comments. I've had people coming on to a lot of my Battlefield coverage here, like on the main channel, even on this channel, saying, hey, you're a COD guy, stick over there. Like, we don't want the COD influence over here. We don't want the COD players over here, which I think is a little bit strange. I would want, the most amount of players possible to enjoy the game that I enjoy too, right? But there's definitely been this thing of, hey, all these Call of Duty people who buy these ridiculous skins, who, want all this cracked out movement and insane stuff, they're going to come over to Battlefield and EA is going to say, hey, I know what these guys like, and they're going to start throwing in crazy movements and ridiculous skins into Battlefield, which is not what the community wants. They want that rooted in realism, grounded military shooter. Rightfully so. John Dice here, no wonders you're worried, because we're already thinking about what to add to the game that COD players would like. Literally the exact situation I was just describing. More cartoon skins, all right. That's why they hate COD, but it's also what sells in COD at the same time, The responses here, like I said, are honestly hilarious. This one's interesting. I don't care who plays the game as long as they try to keep a good team dynamic actually helping out. I do feel like a lot of COD players are probably not going to buy into those roles right away in Battlefield. Like, you're not going to have COD players coming over and like, all right, I'm gonna be the medic this game. I'm gonna get those 60 revives on top of a hill. You're gonna have COD players jumping on going, okay, what's the run and gun class? Where am I gonna get the most kills? Not playing the objective, not playing for the team, like what a lot of Battlefield gameplay could be, built around. You should know by now, COD players, have you seen them play an objective game mode and don't capture the flag or the point, as I just said? I watched a COD YouTuber try Battlefield yesterday. He was complaining about people reviving and people using vehicles. If a lot of COD people do come over, it's gonna be rough for a bit. I mean, there will be loud responses from the COD community, but they also gotta recognize this is what Battlefield is. There is more tanks, there is more vehicles, there are jets flying around blowing you up, and all sorts of crazy stuff like that that is drastically different from Call of Duty gameplay. Only this fan base could actually complain about their game being popular, which, like I said, I think is a weird stance when you have people like trying to gatekeep it. It's like, hey, I'd want more people on the game because that probably is going to mean you get more cool stuff in the long term. Talking updates, talking actual support. When the game does better, there's probably going to be more good that comes from it. But then there is this hesitancy. New players might negatively impact old players if they demand features or changes that old players don't want. We've all seen COD devolve into a literal cartoon Beavis and Butthead skin loot box nightmare. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but we also shouldn't pretend widening the appeal is always positive. It's a justified take. I just don't, like I said, personally fully buy into that. We're gonna have to see what EA is about though. I mean, EA is money hungry. They want the microtransactions, they want the sales, they want all of that. The 100 million player goal that they've got. If that means appealing to the COD player base because that's gonna get them insane profits and revenue, and that's gonna get them an insane player count, I wouldn't put it past them. But also at the same time, they gotta be aware of what the core audience that they already have established is looking for, and it's not necessarily the same thing the COD players always want, at least down to the specifics. I did want to look at a few other Call of Duty related posts on the subreddit though that had some decent traction on it. Like for instance, this meme here of the school bus driving across, that's Black Ops 7, and in comes Battlefield 6, and it just completely obliterates it. Obviously there's going to be this comparison all year long. Every time there's a new FPS on the market, XDefiant, Arc Raiders, you name it, whatever the case is, if there's a new shooter-based game, military-based game, it's going to be, oh, is this the COD killer? Is this the COD killer? Let's be real here. The only thing that's going to take out COD is Call of Duty itself. They're working decently effectively at doing that with some of the ridiculous updates they're doing and the lack of support in other areas. But on a meme like this, don't understand why people are so obsessed with COD. I'm a Battlefield fan, but there's no way BF6 outsells COD. That is an expectation that I would have regardless. Is Battlefield 6 will probably sell really well, and especially when the Battle Royale comes across and it's free to play whenever that ends up launching, you're going to see huge boosts in player numbers. Call of Duty, though, is that household name. Vanguard, one of the worst games in the franchise, was a top seller. Modern Warfare 2, even though it had a severe player base drop off throughout the postseasons, was a top seller and a top played game month after month, season after season, because it's Call of Duty. Black Ops 6 now, where the game is in a really rough state, the online sentiment is down bad, down tremendously, it's still a top played game. Black Ops 7 is going to have sales records. It's going to be the top seller for November. It's going to be a huge game, but that doesn't mean that Battlefield 6 is obsolete compared to it. It's just one is on its own tier right now, basically. Call of Duty sells no matter what. I really can't stand the influx of Battlefield will destroy COD stuff every time a new game is announced. This isn't 2012. How do people still believe Battlefield will ever outsell COD? Even at the peak popularity of Battlefield 1, Call of Duty was arguably at its lowest point and still sold more, becoming the best-selling game of 2016. Just give up. Not everything has to be some senseless competition. So there is some self-awareness here too, which is, I guess, nice to see. I hope it never outsells COD, because to outsell COD, you have to become noob-friendly, laser guns, cringy skins, small map games. Not necessarily. I think there's a balance between Call of Duty being so, like TikTok movement, that brain rot, if you will, constant action, non-stop shipment 24/7 style, versus Battlefield, huge, large scale, very tactical, very realistic. There's a middle ground there that either game could lean to. It's just a matter of, will that actually appeal? Will it be done right in a way that actually appeals to both audiences? Based on what we know so far about Battlefield 6, it does seem to be leaning into it a little bit more, especially with their lofty goals, as we've talked about before. They're leaning into that middle ground a little bit, but they're also still maintaining a lot of core Battlefield stuff at the same time. So there is an opportunity to sort of split this. It's just no game as of late has really done so. Then I thought this post was interesting as well. In just 1 hour, Battlefield 6 has gained more likes than Black Ops 7's trailer with 40 million views. So this was taken an hour into the reveal, where the Battlefield trailer had 194,000 likes. The realistic view count not known at that time because YouTube doesn't update it like 1-to-1. Then the Black Ops teaser has 140,000 likes with 40 million views. For what it's worth, a giant chunk of Call of Duty's trailer views these days and teaser views come from it being an ad on videos, where it'll play as like a general YouTube ad and that counts as a view. So the actual view count on all the new Call of Duty trailers and teasers isn't really real for what it's worth, but the like ratios are, and Battlefield's was much more well received. Now keep in mind, the Black Ops 7 thing is just a teaser, whereas Battlefield 6 was a full-on reveal. We'll have to see as Black Ops 7 gets more actual reveals, multiplayer gameplay, the story stuff coming up here soon, what the response is to that. But we now have like sort of the bar set with Battlefield's full worldwide reveal trailer. This is solely and exclusively because COD dropped the ball delivering a much inferior product year after year. It's not Battlefield's merit as much as I am a Battlefield fan, which very well could be. This could be Battlefield doing what it does well and Call of Duty just ignoring a lot of things that it should change and doubling down on some poor decisions that has sentiment so low, which I think most people can probably agree on. And yet Black Ops 7 will sell 5 times more copies. As I was talking about earlier, the COD fan base is 5 times bigger. They don't care what Activision churns out, they will always eat it up. Source, a classmate knew BO6 was going to be slopped, still pre-ordered. I mean, that's the Call of Duty player base. Like I said earlier, they play no matter what. It's interesting though that you're finding the same sentiment on the Battlefield subreddit. I'm tired of COD. I still don't understand how they created MW 2019 as a masterpiece and then totally forgot how to make a good game. I mean, a lot of MW2, like the campaign, the story, the narrative was similar to MW 2019, but the core gameplay mechanics just missed because they went so far the other direction. Hopefully now coming up with Modern Warfare 4 in 2026, they sort of course correct there. I have a feeling they will because it changes behind the scenes, but it is interesting that that same sentiment is in Call of Duty and it's also in the Battlefield area as well. So certainly some interesting opinions from the Battlefield community in regards to the direct comparisons from Battlefield to Call of Duty, especially this year. We'll have to see how things evolve over the course of the next few weeks and months as we get more information on both titles here throughout various reveals. Obviously, I'll be covering each as more stuff is announced and revealed here. So if you want to stay up to date, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.